Good morning. How is everybody? Yes, we are ZENcast Live. We're going to be talking about ZCM external volumes for content repositories today. So thank you, Kurt, for that justification. A little bit soft. Okay, thank you. I'll see if I can prop it up a little bit. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're going to be doing ZCM external volumes for content repositories today. So this is all about how to move your content over to another location. And next time is going to be ZENworks Service Desk customization and branding. So stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and get started here. So ZENcast Live. We're ZENcast Live. We meet every first and third Tuesday of each month at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, North America. So you can subscribe to us on the Micro Focus Support and Training channel. There are details to the recordings out under that particular YouTube channel under Endpoint Management. You can see ZENcast, Service Desk, ZENworks, and Desktop Containers. All the ZENcasts are here, but you can also see what the upcoming schedule is, as well as previous recordings out at the community site, so that you can see that what's coming up, and so you can tune in if you need to look at those particular things. One of the new ones is the ZENworks ports and protocols, which through the ZENcast, somebody said, hey, what about TLS? How do we do that? So we're going to focus in on that in March. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about TLS and the products, as well as some of the ports, and utilizing ZENworks around some of those issues. Okay, and so we've got it out through May, but then you could see all the different topics here and actually select the topic you're looking for, and it will go right to the YouTube and the Micro Focus Support and Training YouTube channel, and it'll bring that up for you. The first one's a topic, beginning of the session, and this is where the demo starts. So if you want to go directly to the demo, boom, you got it. If you want to get some information leading up to that, you can go to the beginning here. So all of those are sorted by product, so you can actually just do a browser search on the products you're looking for and see if you can find your topic. If the topic isn't there, please send us a topic so that we can add that to our list and get it going, because this forum is for you and we appreciate all your participation in it. A little bit of house cleaning to start off. You can log into chat. If you do, you could then put an @ in front of the name and actually do a connection, or actually you could do a direct message directly to them. And it'll be highlighted so that they can see that you're talking directly to them. So utilize that component. There's comments. I really appreciate any comments you put in the recordings. Do subscribe to the notifications. You'll be notified when we go online. Again, if you go to the gear and you go to turn off autoplay, so if something gets lost, you don't go off some other recording. And then the best quality is the auto 720p60. Okay, that's a little bit of house cleaning. Next is our ZENcast schedule. We're of course doing the external volumes today, and then we're going to be doing ZSD customization and branding, as well as the following week ZSD 8.3 will be released. So we'll be cover the what's new on that, and then you could see the others beyond that. So stay tuned for some of those different topics. We're glad to bring them to you. If you have other topics, please send them to me. You can send them at zen@microfocus.com or paul.pedron@microfocus.com, and we will get them and put them on investigate them and put them on the as a ZENcast. Okay, some of the reminders. We do have Universe coming up, so that's in March. So feel free to register to Universe. It's going to have all the different products from Micro Focus being talked about. It's one of the largest events that we have, but it covers all the different areas, as you can see here. So stay tuned on that. Register for it. Pick out the ones you're looking for. You can also see some recordings if you need to, but be sure to register so that you can get online and see what's coming up in those particular products. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the registration was down there at the bottom. So that's going to be a big event. We got presentations. I'm doing a couple. We got the Zen portfolio going out there and all the other portfolios. Some of the things that are there for the ZENworks or for the endpoint management is some of these here. I listed in the presentation, which you can download right here on the ZENcast. I think I still have it in my buffer. Yeah. So here's the download if you want to see what's going on, or go out to the site, register, and you can see what's going on. But there's things like multi-factor authentication, Windows or Linux for servers, implementing the store, malware attacks, which is new in update 2. So there's a lot of good information out there. So go out there and pick your session. A lot of them will be recording, but there'll also be people able to discuss with you as well. We have some of us are on standby for that. All right. Some of the community content, Microsoft or Micro Focus Ideas Exchange is out there. Be sure to put your ideas in for the different products. Let me move this over here. Just go into any one of the products that you might be needing to put in an idea. You may find it out there. So here's Ideas Exchange for ZCM. And you can discuss or pick up ideas that have already been reported, or you can put in your own. And then there's also tips and info, and then the blogs for the different products. So know that that's out there. There was a great community posting TID the other day that I want to let you know about, the imaging, how to add a kernel parameter when booting from ZCM boot CD for imaging. And so we got that one out there, and Moises did a great job with getting that information to us. The other things are the log4j exploits. Log4j exploits. We have the Micro Focus statement, as well as what you need to go to for ZENworks, GroupWise Messenger, TeamWorks, all the different products that you see here. I kind of dug those out so that you can stay current on that if you need some information on the log4j exploit. ZCM 2020 Update 2 is our current version. You could see that with the TID out there, 7025142. And then so what's new README out there as well. And then don't forget about the cookbook that we have when you upgrade from either 2020 Update 0 or 2020 Update 1. So those are out there. Current version of ZRS is 7.8. You load up 7.2, do the online updates, and it will go to 7.8. So you have that out there as well. The What's New README. Service Desk 821 is out there. What's New in README, and an upgrade cookbook for that as well as Desktop Containers 2111 is out there. And you can get to that information through these links. Recap last week. So ZCM support scenarios. We covered some things like ZCM discovery tools, asset management, that ZCM and ZSD kind of have that. Policies, bookmarks, policies. There's bookmarks, USB policies, connection policies, and so forth. We did Wi-Fi VPN. We kind of looked over those. Bundle management, imaging, some account management scenarios that support got called in on. And then covered some things like sandbox testing, what's it used for, and then mobile app management, remote management, and the new anti-malware. So be aware that that particular ZENcast is out there. We covered these particular topics. We talked a little bit about the remote control helper. There's a TID out there, and then the imaging boot CD, which is out there as well. So if you need some details on some of those topics, mini topics that we covered in scenarios, feel free to go there. And then I showed you the on-demand recordings is out there under the ZENworks Communities portal. Okay. Next, we have a little bit more about the recap. We talked pretty much, the primary topic obviously was log4j vulnerability. What's the latest? What do we need to do to mitigate that? There's some TIDs here and some downloads so that you can start that process. And then we talked a little bit about querying content. The Z content state table, queries possible, but there's different approaches to that, right? You don't need to actually do a query on the database. You can go through some other steps through ZCC to be able to get to some of those solutions or resolutions. Let's see. So these are some of the topics. One of them was the query content, Z content stable. We had a call came in that said, hey, what's the query I need for this particular Z content state to see where my content's at? And these comments came back on how to resolve that. So actually, I don't know that we covered this specifically, but I added it here so we had it because it's a recap. All right. ZENcast agenda for today. We're going to talk a little bit about content repos, content repository, content on an external volume. We're going to move our stuff over to content, all our content onto an external volume, upgrading, backing up, restoring, replacing. So what happens when you do an upgrade? What happens? How do you back it up? Just making sure, obviously, it's another path or another volume. Make sure you have that in your backup rotation, and then restoring and so forth. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what is content, right? Contents can be bundles or policies that come down to the device, right? That communicates with the device. And that includes anti-malware and images and patches, right? So you have all these different content is information, right? Whether it's just a URL for a bookmark or whether it's a bundle that's installing, a large product, ArcGIS or whatever. And then you have system updates, which are also content. Z-News is content. And then there's other content that's in, temporary content and caching stuff. So that's what content is. And that could grow depending on what your zone looks like, right? Or your images, or, how long you've had it around for your system updates. Okay. And remember the PRU, which is a system update, also is content. Okay. So, and that falls under the system update category, obviously. And then who holds the content, right? I didn't finish that. Primary servers, right? Satellite servers actually hold the content, so that, and then there's a replication process, right? You have to make sure that most current is down. So who holds the contents is a primary server and the satellite servers. And of course, you can specify on the satellite server what to hold. The primaries hold everything. So if you have 3 primaries, all 3 primaries are in sync and contain everything that is a content, as well as satellite. You can specify, I only want inventory for this satellite, or I only want, patches or bundles. Okay. And then why move content? Space needed, relocating, and upgrading, right? We need to make sure that we keep, this is an important part of the zone. One of the most important parts as far as keeping what you've developed to be distributed in your environment in a safe spot, as well as being able to manage that, right? And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So I hope this is well informed. We're going to cover some references first, though. ZENworks Content Repository. There's some documentation out here. So if you download this, you'll see the documentation. There's content, right? There's an HTML and a PDF. And the reason why I put both of these is to remind me more than anything else that sometimes I can't find in the HTML because it's segmented. And if I search for something in here that may be in one of these subcategories, it won't really see it. But remember that the PDF is out there, because that goes by all the pages, right? And if you search on the PDF, you can actually you can search the whole document that's in the HTML. Okay, and then you could find out where it is. And for instance, content repository, it's in 32, right? So content repository is 32. Then we can go down to understanding where, well, I already have it there, but it's 32 as well. Okay, but obviously there's no page numbers, right? So in the HTML. So that's to remind you that the PDF is there and very good for being able to search, because we have so much in our documentation. It's such a large product that you want to be able to find those things. Use a PDF, okay? Then you can translate it over to the HTML. And then there's things like changing location. So this link is in here. Content repository, location of repository for Windows or Linux, right? So I put those here. And then if you're doing it an NSS volume or a Windows Server location, temporary location on Windows Server. So those are all here under the content. Okay. Then I threw in here some other things like Linux installation. I'm not heavy in Linux. I know Linux, but I'm not heavy in Linux. So I got to look at my cheat sheets and stuff. I'll be honest with you, and for some of those commands. But this is a nice thing to have for seeing where things are managed and things about your zone and so forth. Okay. Now, one thing I did do, which is a little off topic, but I think it's very well needed, or just as a review, is things like troubleshooting. There's a lot of information in the troubleshooting documentation about different areas of the zone. And so as we wait for it to come up, we'll also look at disaster recovery. Okay, and then database administration. So these things are kind of key to, there's your install. It's having a hard time today. Troubleshooting. Disaster recovery. Well, we'll wait for those to come up. Let's see if keywords comes up. Oh, there's troubleshooting. Troubleshooting came up. Oh, jump. All right. So if you look in here, you could see the different things. Database is not available in the content repository. Removing the content role from a satellite doesn't remove. So there's things in here, and this is in the primary server and satellite reference guide, and things to help you troubleshoot when you're having problems as you call support, or before you call support if you're investigating it on your own, so that you're able to mitigate this maybe before even calling us. When no content is available, content replication does not work based on the defined schedule. So different things that come up, things you may need to check. There's obviously some keys in here that you can configure. And of course, on the Linux side, it's a little more in depth than the Windows side, because it's not so much as GUI, but it gives you the details that you need. So we've expanded on we're always expanding, because you guys place the call, you can't find it, or it's not right in the documentation, or you're not able to locate it. So we appreciate that, because then we can then improve on the documentation. This is a disaster recovery PDF, and obviously this is for backing up the ZENworks server, restoring, backing up the certificate, and so forth. If you're replacing a first primary server or existing primary server with a new one, so this first one, replacing the first primary server with second, so you're actually promoting another server to be the primary server. And then existing primary server with a new one in case you lost your primary server. Okay, so there's some great stuff in here. I want to make sure that link was in there for you as a resource. And then one thing that I ran across, which was in the documentation for the databases, in the appendix, if you're creating your own database, some of the things about the common keywords to use and not use, and to be aware of. Okay, so just a few things that I ran into. I think I had this one as well, if it comes up. Doesn't look like it's going to come up anytime soon. All right, we'll move on. Okay, that should come up in a minute. So part of the one thing to be aware of now that we're on ZENworks 2020 Update 2 is we're moving the back-end architecture to a Docker or Zocker type architecture. And that's going to take a series of steps, right? But we're slowly moving that so that we can then update just the bundle management instead of all of ZENworks, right? Or just the patch management, or just certain details, whatever's in that container, in the Zocker container, instead of waiting for an update, 6 months later or whatever. Okay, so one thing to be aware of is the path command translation. So here's the database administrator, some things here. If you're doing DMZ configuration, we've covered that before, but for all the databases, and I think in here they have troubleshooting as well, advanced concepts. Okay, so some advanced concepts depending on what you're using, which database you're using. Okay, that's what I really wanted to make sure I stressed, is if you're using MS SQL, you can see some advanced concepts that have come up from development and support and the community about what we need to post. Okay, so it makes it easier for you to reference. Okay, so that was that. So remember that in ZCM 2020 update 0, actually update 1 and back, right, to 2017, 11.4, we had the op novell ZENworks path, right? Or the C program files novell ZENworks path, as well as the novell ZENworks configure minus C start, right? Well, and as we move to the new architecture, we're slowly migrating in or transitioning into the microfocus paths and commands. Okay, so for instance, in update 2, you have the opt microfocus ZENworks path. Okay, now agents still remain with the current novell location. Those haven't changed. Like I said, this is going to be a progressive transition. So agents will still be Etsy op novell ZENworks, and I think on the agent side as well, it's the same. Okay, so let's see if I can turn that up a little bit. Okay, so just keeping that in mind as you go from 2020 update 1 or update 0 to 2020 update 2, you're going to need to make sure you're aware that once you get to 2020 update 2, that novell ZENworks configure minus C start won't work. Okay, and why, right? So just as a reminder for that. Well, let's go to the lab. We're going to prepare for moving the data. Again, we're covering some of the things, some of the differences in the pathing and the commands I put in here. I do have let me minimize this. I think it's over here. Yeah. So one thing, you have 9443, you can log in. Now remember, as you log into ZenAdmin, oh, let me try again. That's because it timed out. Go. Oh, come on now. Don't give me a hard time. All right, let's go here. Mine does this once in a while. Okay, so if we log in as ZenAdmin, oh, there we go. You have these particular settings, right? Remember to check your online update monthly or at least quarterly, because that's when it comes out. Cadence is every quarter. We have some online updates as represented here by the exclamation point. And you have the field patches and things like that. One thing I wanted to note was the system services, to make sure your SSH is running in case you need to transfer things in and out, WinSCP or whatever. Okay, so I have mine set to automatically turned on. There's a couple ways to do that. You can go to system services like we have here and go to actions and then stop or start or whatever. Or you can do RCSSHD start at the command prompt. Okay. So if we log in and we go to our 77, and I hope that's big enough. There we go. And then you can actually do RC SSHD start to also turn, oops, that's a login, sorry. Okay, and that will start or restart or stop depending on the command you use. Okay, so that's available to you. Both of those are different commands in case you can't get to 9443 for some reason or something like that. If you're at the console, you can get there. So what we're going to do today is we're going to add a disk, verify new disk exists. We're going to then move the content repo, which is stopping service, creating a new directory, mounting the original volume, move the content to the new volume, unmount the original, and then mount the new volume as content repo. And we're going to see how that works. Okay, so let's go ahead and first off, we'll see that we have our configuration. Let me log in. And you can see we have some devices in here, some bundles, not a very big zone, but we have it configured, ready to go. Here's a ZENews, by the way. When you select home, you can see ZENews at the bottom. And here's your links to the patches for Log4j, security fixes for ZRS, the different patches and so forth. Okay, so stay tuned for here. This is being populated regularly now so that you can get the information you need. Let's see, we can close this. We actually need to go to the console. Okay, I currently have a zone up. Let me go here, close this. And we could see right now, if we go to actions, edit settings, we can see we have 2 hard disks, which is what an appliance would typically do. I'm going to cover it on the appliance today because I think that's pretty popular and we get a lot of calls regarding the appliance and the Linux and those types of things. Just a familiarity for me. The Windows seems pretty natural for me, but I challenge myself with the Linux, so this is what we're going to go with today. We have 2 hard disks. We're going to now add a disk. Okay, so we're going to make a new content. We're going to add a hard disk, and we're going to do an existing hard disk, actually a standard hard disk, an additional, and we're going to go 25 gigabytes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now this particular device has allocated to it 25 gigabyte new volume, right? I'm going to get my cheat sheet up so I get some of this right. Okay, so we've added that. Now we're going to go into YAST, which is just basically the configuration of the appliance itself. We're going to go to System Partitioner, right? We're going to go ahead and say yes to this and add. You'll see that the new one is not here. You can see that I only have SDA and SDB. So we need to know that SDC is out here and it hasn't refreshed to know that. So let's go back out and let's go F9. Quit. I think, RQ, there we go. Nope, F9. Okay. I'm going to do a init 0 so that now when it comes up, it'll see that there's another device there. Let's go ahead and close this. And it's going down. Now we created that ahead of time. So if we look at it, edit settings, we can see that we have 3 disks. One of them is 25, which is our new one. Okay, so now when we start up, we should be able to log in, see the added volume, and partition it. Okay, one of the other things we're actually doing is we're looking at, I think it's at the bottom, while we're waiting for this to come out. Let's see. There it is. This guy has, I've imported, but this is just a update 2, 2020 update 2 that we're going to migrate everything to. So we're going to actually do an upgrade at the end of this. It's going to challenge me, but we're going to give it a go. And then, so I preloaded this just so you're aware. Let me go back to this guy, our current, so we're up and running. Let's log in. Is that big enough, I hope? Let me move this over. You know what? Yeah, let's expand this. Get a little more details. Let's go root. Okay. All right, we can take me off. Hang on a second. We can take me off. Give more room to see. All right. So we're bringing up Yas2 again. There we go. All right. So now let's go to partitioner, select yes. We are qualified. Again, make sure you have everything backed up, top to bottom, database, everything, right? A little slower than yesterday. Move this over a little bit. Okay. We're going to add a disk and then verify the new disk that comes in. It's going to be SDC is the disk. So you can see now as we go through here, come on now, hard disks, we have SDC, right? So what we can do now, let's go enter. We're going to obviously add a partition. Okay, so we're going to add Alt-A. And it's going to be a primary partition. Okay. It's not happy with me today. Enter, please. Oh, did I move outside? Probably moved outside. Why is it not selecting? Alt-P. We'll go Alt-P. It's like I lost my... Let's go F9 and abort. Let's do Alt-A. Alt-P. Alt-Next. And we'll do maximum size. Alt-M. Alt-Next. And it's just the data volume, right? Not a swap or operating system. We'll do Alt-Next. And then we're going to format the partition. With default is fine. We're also going to mount the partition. Okay. And you have to give it a name. So we're going to do Zen Content. All right. Then we're going to do Alt-Next. Finish, sorry. Okay, so there it is there. Then if we hit next, it's going to go ahead and format that, and create that volume. There we go. So now if we look at partitioner, you will see SDC1. All right. So that's good. We're going to go ahead and hit Alt. We're going to abort this because we didn't make any changes. We can go ahead and quit this. All right. If we look at mount, you can see at the very bottom, SDC1, Zen Content. Okay, it's mounted. If we look at, for instance, cat etc, well, let's do /etc fs tab. Okay, you can see that Zen Content is there. Okay, and then if, of course, if we just do a mount dev /SDC1, we're there. So we have it up and running, we have it mounted. If you have any failures, you can always check out your syslog, which is dmessage. And then you could look at the tail end of it, tail, which gives you the last part of it, right? We don't have any errors in that, but you can look at that. I just wanted to put that in this recording. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stop services. We currently have, well, first let's go on our WinSCP. All right. And we're going to look at our current var op novel ZENworks content repo. And if we do edit link, we could see, oh, this is from the old one. Hang on, when I was testing. There we go. So content repo doesn't have a link. It's on VA storage. Here's your content, which is your bundles, policies, and that type of stuff. Your images, if you have any. Your system updates. You got a PRU in here. You could see this was upgraded from 17.2 all the way to 2020 update 1. You got some temp files, which we have some ZPM in there, as well as ZNews, okay, which we don't have anything in there. All right, we're gonna move this content repo to the other new location, which is what do we call it? Zen content. So let's refresh this. Yeah, there's Zen content. Okay, I have to refresh because I left WinSCP up while I was testing yesterday. Okay, so Zen content is out here. There's let me review this. So there's nothing in it, right? Again, that was cache from yesterday. So Zen content, there's nothing in it. Let's go ahead and start that process then. Okay, what's the first thing we have to do? We have to turn off the services for ZENworks, right? So let's stop the services. Let's do this so it's farther up. So ZENworks configure myc start. Okay, and we're going to stop 14, and that'll just take a minute. All right. Next, we're going to make sure that's mounted, right? We're going to move the content. All the services are stopped. So if we we can create a directory cd. Oops, sorry. I think I just left it Zen content as the directory, so we can leave that there. We don't actually have to change directory, but let's mount the original location, which is, and we have it in the what did I do? The original location has to be up and running. Mount volume at original location. Yeah, move content, unmount. Okay, so let's go to our, and I stress this because I don't have it memorized. I want to make sure that we have, I'll bring up the documentation on this. It'll be on here. Let me go back. Excuse me for a sec. Okay, let's go here. Content repository. Changing the location. Okay. So let me close some of these so I can get to the other location. All right. Let me move this over. Where's it's this guy. Yeah. Forgive me. Okay. So we've stopped all the actions. Now we need to move the content. Okay. Everything's mounted. It's already mounted. We showed that we do mount. We could see it mounted. All right. So the original directory is var op novel ZENworks content repo. So if we did a mv var op novel ZENworks content repo star to Zen content, right? Oh, this is going to take a while. I forgot, but I can bring up my snapshot if we need to. But this will take a couple minutes, obviously. So it's moving all that content. If we were to look in our WinSCP again, and if we go to Zen content, and we do, you could see it starting to build. Okay. Yesterday I started this and then left the table for a while it was doing its churning, and I don't know exactly how long it took. Okay. If we need to, we can go on to the other snapshot. Okay, let me see what my snapshots say. Get this a little bigger. So added volume. This is after the drive is in place. Doesn't show you the process though. Transition is complete. Oh, after external drive is in place. Yeah, let's go there. We can always review the commands that I did. Let me go there just to save time because we are 20 minutes left. So we added the 40 gig for content repo, 50 gig for content repo, and we're going to go here and restore this snapshot. Wait a minute for it to complete. Okay, double check that we're on that right snapshot. Okay, we're there, good. Let's go ahead and start that one up. So a couple of the things we need to do is we had them both mounted. Services are off. We had them both mounted, right? Let's do this. So we started off, we added a volume, we made sure it was mounted. We then brought down the ZENworks services. We then went ahead and made sure both of them were mounted, copied the data over to the new volume. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we remove the old volume, make sure you get the right one, right? And then we're going to do a link to the new volume so that it picks it up, okay? This one might actually be complete. I don't think I did a step in between, but we could see that. Okay, it's coming up. Go back over here. Okay. So if we log in here, make sure I'm in there, root. Problem is that time it takes to transfer that over. So the demo isn't quite as good, complete with that not showing, but that's basically what it was doing. But then I don't think I saved it right after that. Let's see, mount. So we do have a Zen content mounted and a VA storage mounted here. Let's go to our WinSCP and kind of check out the environment here. Reconnect. All right, so if we can see Zen content is here. We have some content. Let's refresh this. Okay, so everything got transferred over. If we look at VA storage, actually, if we look at var opt, Novell, ZENworks, you can see this is going to VA storage here. Okay, ZENworks, content repo. Let's refresh this. You can see the link now. I edited the link so it's Zen content instead. There is no content repo on VA storage. It's now been linked over to the Zen content new volume. Okay, some of the things we can see is df -h. You can see, let me do clear and repeat that so you can see it up above. You can see Zen content now has 16 gigabytes available of the total 35 gig was used, okay, when we transferred over. So that would have taken a little bit of time. All right, but you also see the available on VA storage, which used to have that content, has gone up. It's increased to 83. I didn't show you it ahead of time, but obviously the 35 gig, or probably closer to 28 gig, was transferred from VA storage to Zen content. Okay. All right. So, and we do have everybody mounted and we're good to go. Let's go check out our devices. See if this will work for us. We're going to, we need to, and we, again, after we did that transfer, we need to restart services, obviously, right? So at this point, if we look at this device, come on now, help me out. There you go. Oh, it's not happy with my, I was going to show you, let me close this back down. I was going to show you the WinSCP, but let's do this instead. All right, so I can't show you actually the install from the content repo, new Zen content arena, but we can show you a different way. So let's go to ZCC. We'll probably have to relog in on both of these because we've changed out the zone, stopped and started services. There we go. Root. Okay, we're up and running. I like to go here from here. See if that'll come up. Okay, in the meantime, what patches do we have? Security patches. Okay. Oh, we got our control center, administrator. We're going to import a bundle and we'll see that it shows up in the Zen content. Easy way to show that particular process, right? So let's go to test. I think I've done one already in this test, but I'm going to go ahead and do another import bundle and we'll go pick one. It showed up over here, browse. And we are in company bundles. Let's go like, oh, there's nothing there. All right, let's go to test. No, I want a zip file. So we'll do this one. Upload. Next. Do we want to? Autodesk, yes. Let's go ahead and do that and finish. Okay, so it's ATAK. If if we go back to return to folder, you can see it's here. Install, we got some things, creating directories, launching a setup.exe, etc. Okay. So we'll go ahead, and we don't need to even publish. Let's go ahead and look at our WinSCP. We're going to refresh, go content. We can see that, nope, change. Should be able to see by going var up, well, ZENworks, content repo, content. We have, where is it now? Sort by date. Hang on, let me look at something. Right. Should be. Let's try again. Oh, maybe I didn't refresh. Hang on. Var. Novell, because this is what we did the link path to, right? Is this content repo to Zen content, right? So now let's do a refresh. Let's go there. Let's do a refresh. Let's go to content. And go back. Now it's interesting that it's, I don't see it. I ran into this yesterday, and there's two ways to look at this, and I think it's my Linux. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Well, we got import data there, recent. Okay. 05. Okay, this is yesterday's, actually. We did complete this, right? Yeah, we did. Let's go back. We have it here. I was going to, which is what I did yesterday, is apply it to the workstation, but it wasn't. Accepting today. Let's go back to my workstation and see. I just don't have any mouse. My VMware tools is shut down or something. Let me restart this guy while we're fussing. Let's see, manage snapshots. Let's restore. We'll get them all in sync. And power it up. All right, while that's happening, let's go back over here. Let's look at our WinSCP. Well, if we look at, we obviously can't get to Zen content. Because we removed that directory from VA storage path and pointed it to the Zen content path as content repo. So this was yesterday's, because I restored the particular server. That's what we're looking at here, and you can see that it came in. We're going to try and do another one. Let's import another one just for kicks and giggles. Come on now. There we go. Test my area, new import bundle, ZENworks. It keeps appearing over here. And we'll pick another one. Upload. Okay. Inventory only office. WinPro, return to folder. Okay, we got this Windows 10 build 1803. What does it do? Let's look. Okay, it runs a script, does some file removal. And those are disabled. So it installs. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and publish. Finish. All right, let's go ahead and go to here, relationships, see if we can add it to the desktop. Workstations. Nope. Workstation. Go down here, here. Okay. Desktop. Next. Next. Finish. All right, while that's doing that, let's go ahead and log in on this guy, see if we get the VMware tools working again. Okay, I got a mouse. That's better. I don't have LDAP hooked up, so I'm just going to cancel this. I have user management on, but it's going to prompt me for authentication. So I won't get any user bundles, but I'll get the workstation bundles because it's registered. And if we go here, you can see time-wise, 9:56. See a refresh. It's refreshing now, 9:50, 10:55. Yeah, I think this is Pacific time. We're there. We'll go ahead. Oh, here we go. Let's let this simmer and cook. We'll go back to the appliance and GCC. Let's see if we have that now in here. Oh, phooey. All right, let's refresh. Zen Content. If we go directly to Zen Content. I selected something, sorry. Shows some imported data. I don't see the directory in here though, where it imported. Let's go to the device. It's not completely up yet. Do have a mouse though, so it's going to start. Hasn't started at ZENworks yet, so it's starting up. Okay, so if we look at members assignments, we can see we have these things attached. Okay. What I want to do is show you PuTTY, which hasn't been run on this device, to show that it downloads and installs. Okay. All right. That was proof of concept. Obviously, it's a little slow. We're coming close to our time up today, but I do want to say that check the documentation, obviously. First, make sure that you're on the right documentation, and so that you can get, obviously it's changing, the architecture is changing. Next, what would you would do is you now have 2 disks instead of the 1, right? So you need to make sure you have backup on both of those regularly. And then as you upgrade to update 2, you're going to then transfer those 2 volumes when you go to edit settings, in this case. Obviously, I just threw this one up here. We only have 1 hard disk. We're going to add the other 2 volumes, right? We're going to copy them, because if you move them and something goes wrong on this particular install, you have that issue of, if you delete it or something happened, at least if you copy, you have a replica. And so I normally copy to the location of this disk from the other disk and then bring these up. Now, when it installs, it'll be installing with the normal content repo. All you have to do at this point is go ahead and change the link. Okay, removing that content repo from the normal path, the standard path, and doing a link to the new volume that's out there, which is Zen content. Okay, so those are some of the things you'd want to do. Sorry, we took a little bit long on getting this. Oh, there they are up. So if I do this, there's WinSCP or PuTTY. If I do, I'm thinking this one's going to fail. But you can see it's downloading the files. We removed that directory, right? We removed the old content repo directory. So it's bringing things down. Oh, this particular one does work, but it gives me this false positive. I didn't tweak it. So now it's installing from the Zen content that we just moved over to. Okay, so that was just proof of concept that it did do what it needed to do. And we don't need to launch either of these. I think some of my WinSCP is because things are cached and I'm just not following the content right, but was very successful yesterday. So I jumped on in. Okay, we got it ready. Well, this was yesterday's import. I haven't found today's import yet, but it's most likely, it's obviously there because I I was able to bring it down. Okay, this one was the one from yesterday. Okay, so it's going to install. All right, so we're a little bit past due. I wanted to say thank you for for you guys attending. Sorry for the little bit of delay on that. The content repo, it's fairly simple. Just follow that documentation to the T. Research it and understand what's going on in that particular scenario, because your environment is obviously going to be different than my environment. Your version is going to be different than mine, so make sure you get the right version. So we've done that. Here's a couple of product updates that we've covered, some things about portal login and so forth, if you're so inclined to need that. Again, Log4j links, so if you download this particular PowerPoint presentation, you'll have those. ZCM Suite is currently at update 2, have some things there. I have imaging here with the additional KM message, the additional TID that's out there. But if you're looking for the imaging updates for downloads, you can get that, and some of the other products. Okay. I appreciate everybody's time in coming out today. I'll have a recap again next week on this particular process. And if there are any questions, please let me know. Happy to address them. And if you're looking for any particular topic, please let me know what that topic is so that I can get it on the ZENcast for you. All right, we can study it up, get an expert, and go forward. All right. I hope it was informative. You had some extra. We relieved some fears about going to the content repo, and that you're able to use that if you need to. All right. Again, it's just another location but you got to get all the pieces talking to the right pieces, right? So I hope that was informative, and we will be, oh yeah, where are we going next time? Next time we are going to be doing ZSD branding and